Hello everyone, welcome to this series on politics from the lens of political consultant. Recently, Bankipur By-Election results were announced and Prashant Kishore and his party Jan Suraj won by around 20,000 votes there. While the whole media is flooded with this information and everyone is talking about PK, hardly anyone is talking about what happened, why it happened the way it happened and what are the implications. So this video is specially targeted towards analyzing this overall election. What are the learnings from it for a political consultant or a political consulting enthusiast, and what are the implications of it? When results were announced, Prashant Kishore, the first statement was
30 बरस का जो गढ़ है वो सिर्फ 30 दिनों में ढह गया.
But let's go beyond that and understand why it happened. For that, we need to go back to data and look at the results in 2026 and understand kahan se vote aaya, from which section have we got this vote, from which party have we got this vote. When I look at 2026 result, I see that Prashant Kishore and his party Jan Suraj got around 50% votes, while BJP got 35% vote, and the RJD, which was the major opposition earlier, they got around 11% vote. In the past, BJP here got in 2020 and 2025 both. BJP got around 60% votes. So this 60% decreased to 35% means there is a decrease of 25% in the BJP's vote share. Second, for RJD, in the past, in 2025, they got 30% vote. It was Indian National Congress, which was active there in 2020, and they got 30% vote. So in the past, they got around 30% vote as an opposition. This time, they got only 10%, which means there is a 20% decline in vote share of RJD. When you add these, which is 25% decline for BJP and 20% decline for RJD, it is 45%. In the past, Jan Suraj candidate got 5% votes here in 2025. If you add all of them, it is 45 plus 5, it is 50% votes, which means the Jan Suraj vote share is coming from both the RJD as well as the BJP. So those who think that maybe it was just the opposition vote consolidation, that is actually not the case. Yes, there is one factor that here this time the overall VTR voting turnout rate was way lesser compared to the past. So it was just 34%. This time only 34% people voted, which was even 7% less compared to the last election. Now, whose voter voted less is a question which can be analyzed maybe later. Now, let's double click on why this 25% vote shift from BJP to Jan Suraj and another 20% vote shift from RJD to Jan Suraj. For that, I'm going to discuss the 10 reasons, all objective, verifiable reasons, and I will divide them into 4 buckets. One is the narrative. Second is what happened in PK's end, what happened on BJP's end, and fourth, what about the other opponents, which is RJD, Indian National Congress, and others. When I talk about the narrative plays a very important role in how people vote in a region. Essentially, there were 3 narratives which impacted the election this time. Number 1, Prashant Kishore made it a candidate versus candidate fight instead of a party versus party fight. He knew BJP's candidate Neeraj Sinha is very weak compared to Prashant Kishore, who is an outstanding communicator and has an unblemished past. He directly appealed to people asking, who do you think should be your leader, Neeraj Sinha or Prashant Kishore? Second, he made this election a referendum against Samrat Chaudhary. He conveyed to people that if BJP wins, nothing will change. They are already in power, will remain in power. But if I will win, then it is going to send a strong signal to the center that Bihar and its electorate and its people are not happy with the leadership of Samrat Chaudhary. They elected Nitish Kumar as their chief minister and not Samrat Chaudhary. Their leader should be someone who has an unblemished past, an excellent image, and who is actually capable of taking the future of Bihar to great heights. This is again something which directly impacted, because now if you talk about Nitish Kumar, before 1 year, Prashant Kishore was very critical of Nitish Kumar.
नीतीश कुमार शारीरिक तौर से थके हुए और मानसिक तौर पर अस्वस्थ हो गए हैं, और अगर इसका प्रमाण आपको जानना है तो खाली आप खड़े होकर नीतीश कुमार जी से उनके मंत्री परिषद के सदस्यों का नाम पूछ लीजिए.
But now this time he seemed to be a bit sympathetic towards him.
बीमार नीतीश कुमार का एक गलत वीडियो बनाकर भाजपा वाले आधिकारिक तौर पर कल जारी किए हैं. अगर नीतीश बाबू ने यह बयान दिया है तो किसी भी अपने पसंद के किसी भी पत्रकार के सामने नीतीश कुमार के से वो बयान वो दिलवा दीजिए. हम अभी चुनाव के 2 दिन पहले हम लोग अपना दावेदारी वापस ले लेंगे.
Which again maybe helped him and gained some of the Kurmi votes, the caste he come from, gives by showcasing more and more sympathy towards Nitish Kumar. And third and most important is the overall alliance which was forged here. Now, Prashant Kishore forged an alliance in a manner that it became a bipolar election between two parties, BJP versus Prashant Kishore. He built some kind of alliances, tacit, etc., with the opposition in the manner that Indian National Congress directly, openly supported Jan Swaraj. Even Tej Pratap Yadav directly supported Jan Swaraj. Tejashwi Yadav, he was busy with his family events and was not very active in the constituency. So this way, the significant vote of the opposition directly shifted towards Jan Swaraj and Prashant Kishore. So the vote of the opposition consolidated towards Prashant Kishore. Second, what happened at the end of Prashant Kishore? So this was about narrative. Second is what happened in the house of Prashant Kishore. Number one thing is he is emerging as a youth leader in the state. He is educated and youth compared to, let's say, every other politician out there. And hence, he got a very significant support from youth and Gen Zs. Just to tell you the number, youth constitute 1/3 of the overall population of this constituency. And coincidentally, the timing of the CJP protest also directly helped him in a way.
पहले भी कहा है, आपको भी बता दे रहा हूं, सोनम वांगचुक मेरे व्यक्तिगत मित्र हैं। जब उनको लद्दाख में आंदोलन के लिए पकड़कर, आप में से कुछ लोग ही जानते होंगे, उनको महीनों सरकार ने जोधपुर जेल में रखा है। तो मैं आज से उनको नहीं जानता हूं, बहुत बड़े शिक्षाविद हैं, एनवायरमेंटलिस्ट हैं और हम लोग के मित्र हैं। उन्होंने भी जाकर सीजेपी के प्लेटफॉर्म पर अपना योगदान दिया। ये पार्टी की बात नहीं है और ये कल लोगों ने देखा है कि लोग खड़े हो जाए, जनता खड़ी हो जाए तो बड़े से बड़े सत्ता में बैठे हुए लोगों को झुकना पड़ेगा। अगर सीजेपी के लोग यहाँ आते हैं, छात्रों के साथ उनके मुद्दों से जुड़कर काम करते हैं, तो उसका हम लोग स्वागत।
Because he understood that now education is an important issue. Youth are also directly associated with the CJP, and he openly made this statement: if CJP leaders will come to Bihar and want to do something fructuous here, we will support them. So already discontent of youth with the ruling regime, and then an alternative who is talking about education, who is directly supporting the CJP protesters, certainly helped him gain a significant chunk of youth. Not just youth, there are also some information that this youth also, these kids also convinced their parents, and hence there was a significant alignment of women also towards Prashant Kishore and Jan Swaraj. Second is his caste. Prashant Kishore comes from Brahmin community. Again, caste play an important role in the politics of Bihar. Now he himself come from Brahmin caste, and then there was this incident of Bharat Tiwari encounter in the past, which again directly impacted the Brahmin voting pattern, which is the core voter base of BJP otherwise. I was talking about CJP. One important thing is Bihar government decided to withdraw all the cases against the CJP protesters, essentially because they knew its implications for Bankipur By-Elections, which is again another symbol of youth discontent with the ruling regime and their support for Prashant Kishore. And third, and another very important factor is, in the past, it was Prashant Kishore's workers, organization which was at stake. But this time, it was Prashant Kishore himself who was at stake. His career of 30 years was at stake. If he had lost this time, it would have severely impacted his prospects in the state. And the people, the public have shown that they want to see the main leader on ground and not just the workers. Apart from it, if we talk about BJP, there were some of the blunders which were done by BJP. In the house of BJP, one thing, initially they announced Abhishek Kumar as their candidate and then withdrew his candidature. This was a moral victory for Jan Swaraj before even the election started. Then after this, BJP fielded Neeraj Sinha, who was again a very weak candidate. Whenever he was speaking,
भैया का आशीर्वाद प्राप्त है और कार्यकर्ताओं का शक्ति और जनता का विश्वास मिल रहा है, बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है। राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष ने कहा है कि हौसला एकदम बुलंद है हम लोग का और जीत सुनिश्चित है।
There were a lot of gaps, and Jan Swaraj and their IT cell was very well capturing that. They very well capitalized on the weaknesses of Neeraj Sinha to build a narrative against him. And most important, there was an allegation from Prashant Kishore and Jan Swaraj that Ravi Shankar Prasad said,
भाजपा कहती है कि हम किसी को खड़ा कर देंगे, कुत्ता बिल्ली को तो हम जिता लेंगे। और दल ने कहा है कि भाजपा कहती है कि हम किसी को खड़ा कर देंगे, कुत्ता बिल्ली को तो हम जिता लेंगे। ये बिल्कुल गलत है, बेबुनियाद है।
What matters is the way it was amplified by the IT cell of Jan Swaraj was exemplary.
इतने वोट से भाजपा हारेगी कि जीवन में कभी ये कहने का दुस्साहस नहीं कर पाएंगे कि हम लोग कुत्ता बिल्ली को भी खड़ा करेंगे तो चुनाव जीत जाएगा.
This statement directly hit the self-respect of the constituents and affected how they voted. This was direct attack on the core voters of BJP. So the core voter, the youth came towards Jan Swaraj. Second, the Brahman community. Third, because of the self-respect issue, a larger section of BJP again shifted towards Jan Swaraj. Women, again, along with their kids, shifted towards Jan Swaraj. Prashant Kishore also made the issue of Nitish Kumar's removal. He comes from the Kurmi community. The statements of Prashant Kishore certainly resonated well with the Kurmi community, and this would have resulted in their vote shifting towards Jan Swaraj. Apart from it, even though BJP gave a tough fight in the sense that they had around 40 star campaigners, all the singers, dancers, almost everyone was there, but still they were not able to build the narrative or break the narrative which Prashant Kishore was building against them. Finally, fourth, the opposition. As I was talking, it was a bipolar election. Some of the parties, Indian National Congress, Tej Pratap Yadav, directly supported Jan Swaraj. Prashant Kishore was also extremely cautious with respect to his wordings against Tejashwi Yadav. He did not involve in any form of direct criticism for Tejashwi Yadav because he understood that his loyal supporters, Tejashwi Yadav's and RJD's loyal supporters, are also voting for him. And any criticism of Tejashwi Yadav can take those voters away from him. So the opposition vote again consolidated towards Jan Swaraj. So these were the major factors broken into narrative, BJP, Prashant Kishore and opposition. Now talking about its implications for the politics of Bihar. One thing is what happened is a very big red flag for RJD. If Prashant Kishore emerges as a strong opponent, a significant vote share of RJD, which is the Muslim community, which votes for any party, which largely votes for any party, which can defeat BJP, will directly shift towards Jan Swaraj. And the other youth section, which has again started supporting RJD as an alternative to BJP, will also directly shift towards Jan Swaraj. So it is a very big red flag for RJD as a party. For BJP, obviously, it's a moral loss and it's a big moral victory for Jan Swaraj and its party workers. Now, what are the major learnings from it as a political consultant? Essentially, there are 5 learnings. Number 1 is the role of narrative in politics. Prashant Kishore made it a referendum against Samrat Chaudhary instead of it being a simple election. Apart from it, the way he amplified this issue around Kutta Billi ko bhi Bhajpa ki ticket pe khada kar denge to wo jeet jayega, which again directly affected the self-respect of the constituents there. Second is the branding. Prashant Kishore's personal branding versus negative branding of the opponent candidate, which again was also very beautifully done by Jan Swaraj. Third is again related to the same, which is the SWOT analysis, knowing your own strengths, your own weaknesses, and accordingly capitalizing on your strengths and bridging the weaknesses. So Prashant Kishore knew that they are strong at the candidate level and weak at the party level. They made it a candidate versus candidate fight instead of a party versus party fight. Fourth is the diplomacy. The way Jan Swaraj and Prashant Kishore built alliance and tested with various opposition leaders who were even their staunch opponents in the past. Be it Tej Pratap Yadav, be it the Indian National Congress, or even Tejashwi Yadav was also inactive in that region. And fifth is the amplification, how they amplified this overall issue of Kutta Billi ko bhi unke ticket pe khada kar denge, or some other issues around Prashant Kishore's workers arrest and showcasing it as a police raj and many other things. Now I hope you have more clarity about what happened in Bankipur By-Poll and why it happened the way it happened. Please write your experience and learnings in the comment box. This was my first video under this series. I'll keep on coming up with more videos. I'll also come up with another video on implications of it in the politics of Bihar. If you like this video, please let me know if you want me to make a video on the implications as well.